Humanity loves to think it's enlightened, but we still can't emotionally handle the truth about ourselves. 1. The empathy illusion. You think you're good at understanding people, right? Bad news, most of your empathy is projection. Studies show that when you feel someone's pain, you're actually feeling your own memories of pain and assuming they match. That's why two people can look at the same crying stranger and have completely opposite reactions. One feels compassion, the other annoyance. It's not because one's a monster. It's because our empathy is ego in disguise. We don't connect to others, we connect to our own reflection inside them. Congratulations, your kindness might just be narcissism in costume. 2. The happiness paradox. You'll never be happy by chasing happiness. The second you focus on it, your brain treats joy like a checklist item you're failing to complete. Dopamine isn't a reward chemical, it's a maybe soon chemical. It spikes when you want something, not when you get it. That's why you feel alive while chasing goals, but strangely empty once you achieve them. The human brain evolved for pursuit, not satisfaction. You're not broken, you're just built to crave, not to keep. The secret? Stop trying to be happy. That's when it sneaks up on you. 3. The memory lie. Your memories aren't photographs. They're Wikipedia pages that anyone, especially you, can edit. Every time you recall an event, your brain rewrites tiny details based on your current emotions, beliefs, and self-image. That argument from 3 years ago? You've probably rescripted it 50 times to make yourself slightly more right each time. Scientists call this reconsolidation, but you can call it self-serving storytelling. The past you remember is just your brain's PR department spinning your history to protect your ego. The scariest part? You'll swear it's true. 4. The spotlight delusion. You walk into a room, trip a little, and instantly feel like everyone saw it. They didn't. No one cares. That crushing sense that all eyes are on you. That's the spotlight effect. Your brain overestimates how much people notice or remember your mistakes by an absurd margin. Why? Because you are the main character of your own movie, and your brain assumes everyone else is watching it too. But spoiler, everyone's too busy starring in their own. That embarrassing thing you said 3 years ago at a party? They forgot before dessert. You're the only one still rewatching that scene. 5. The freedom rebellion. Ever notice how the moment someone tells you what to do, you don't want to do it anymore? Even if it was your idea 5 minutes ago? That's psychological reactance, your mind's toddler-level rebellion against perceived control. The same force that makes teenagers dye their hair blue also fuels adults ignoring good advice just to feel autonomous. Tell someone to relax, and they'll tense up. Tell them to calm down, and congratulations, you just started a fight. The human brain would rather fail freely than succeed under orders. Freedom, even stupid freedom, feels safer than obedience. 6. The liking gap. You walk away from a conversation convinced the other person didn't like you. But statistically, they did, more than you think. Research from Cornell University found that we consistently underestimate how much new acquaintances enjoy our company. The reason? Self-criticism drowns out external validation. You remember every awkward pause. They remember your smile. You obsess over your phrasing. They remember how you made them feel. The liking gap means you're probably way more likable than your anxiety allows you to believe. Ironically, the people most certain they're unlikable are usually the ones everyone secretly loves. 7. The emotional contagion trap. You don't just catch colds, you catch feelings. Emotions are contagious through micro-expressions, tone, and even posture. Sit next to someone angry, and your cortisol rises within minutes. Spend too long around chronic complainers, and your brain starts mirroring their pessimism like a psychological virus. It's empathy turned against you. The emotional contagion effect. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between what you feel and what you're absorbing. So, every time you leave a conversation drained, you didn't overreact. You just got infected. Protect your energy like your immune system. Some people are emotional biohazards. 8. The motivation mirage. You're waiting to feel ready before you start that thing you've been avoiding. Newsflash: readiness is a myth. Motivation doesn't come before action. It comes after it. The brain releases dopamine not when you think about progress, but when you make it. That's why cleaning one corner of your room magically makes you want to clean the rest. Momentum creates motivation, not the other way around. Waiting to feel ready is just procrastination in a lab coat. You'll never wake up one morning with divine inspiration. You start, you stumble, and then, suddenly, you care. 9. The control fallacy. You think your stress comes from having too much to handle. It doesn't. It comes from the illusion that you could handle it perfectly if you just tried harder. Your brain is addicted to control, but life's chaos keeps exposing the lie. Every plan, every backup plan, every spreadsheet, all temporary comfort against the truth. Control is mostly a placebo. Studies show people who can tolerate uncertainty actually experience less anxiety, even when things go wrong. The goal isn't to control everything, it's to stop expecting the universe to take your orders. Spoiler, it never will. 10. The mirror rule. Here's the harshest truth. The people who annoy you most are usually mirrors. The traits that trigger you in others often reflect the ones you suppress in yourself. That coworker's arrogance? Maybe you hate your own need for validation. That friend's indecisiveness? Maybe it mirrors your own hidden fears of making mistakes. The brain projects what it refuses to acknowledge. Carl Jung called it the shadow self. All the parts of you your ego pretends don't exist. Every irritation is a clue. The world isn't full of enemies. It's full of reflections you're not ready to recognize. 11. The nice person. Paradox. You think being nice makes people respect you. Wrong. It makes you useful, which is not the same thing. Chronic people-pleasing trains others to expect your compliance, not appreciate it. When you never say no, your kindness becomes white noise. The paradox? The more you try to earn love by erasing yourself, the less lovable you seem. Humans instinctively value what's scarce, not what's constantly available. So when you stop overgiving, people don't abandon you. They start seeing you. Boundaries aren't walls. They're price tags that remind others you're not free. 12. The self-talk trap. You talk to yourself more than anyone else, and you're a terrible conversationalist. That inner voice that narrates your every move? It's not a guide. It's a courtroom where you're both the defendant and the prosecutor. Studies show self-criticism activates the same brain regions as physical pain. So every time you replay a mistake, your brain literally hurts itself. The twist: that voice isn't even fully you. It's an echo of parents, teachers, bullies, ghosts of authority wired into your neurons. You don't need to silence it. Just recognize when you're arguing with your past instead of your present. 13. The achievement void. Ever noticed how success feels amazing for about 3 minutes? That's your hedonic treadmill at work, the psychological treadmill that keeps you running after new goals just to stay emotionally level. Each win resets your baseline happiness, leaving you chasing the next hit of "I made it." It's not failure, it's design. The brain evolved to reward progress, not permanence. That's why millionaires feel just as restless as broke students. Different trophies, same emptiness. The cure isn't to stop chasing, but to notice that the finish line keeps moving. You don't need more wins, you need to get off the treadmill. 14. The loneliness illusion. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. Because loneliness isn't about proximity, it's about authenticity. When you hide parts of yourself to fit in, your brain registers it as social starvation. You're technically with people, but emotionally starving for real connection. Harvard's 80-year longitudinal study found that the #1 predictor of lifelong happiness isn't wealth, health, or status, it's genuine relationships. But those require vulnerability, not perfection. You can only be loved to the extent you're known. The problem isn't that nobody gets you, it's that you're too busy pretending to be gettable. 15. The perception filter. You don't see reality. You see a personalized hallucination your brain made just for you. Neuroscientists call it predictive processing. Your brain guesses what's out there, then edits sensory input to fit the story it already believes. You don't live in the world, you live in your expectations of it. That's why optimists and cynics experience completely different versions of the same event, and both swear they're right. Your beliefs are the software that decides what counts as real. Change your assumptions, and you literally start living in a different universe. 16. The familiarity trap. You don't fall for what's best for you. You fall for what feels familiar. That's why people raised around chaos mistake it for chemistry. The brain confuses comfortable with safe because comfort means predictable, even if it's miserable. This is called repetition compulsion, your subconscious replaying old emotional patterns, hoping for a different ending. Spoiler: it never ends differently until you stop mistaking anxiety for attraction. Sometimes the spark you feel isn't love. It's your nervous system recognizing an old wound and saying, "Oh look, we know this pain." 17. The validation loop. You post, they like, you feel seen for about 12 seconds. That's the dopamine loop hijacking your self-worth. Social validation triggers the same brain circuits as food and drugs, but with one deadly glitch. It fades almost instantly. Every hit makes you need the next one faster. You're not addicted to attention. You're addicted to relief from self-doubt. And here's the kicker. People who crave approval the most tend to attract the least of it. Why? Because desperation reads as danger. Confidence isn't being liked, it's being okay if you're not. 18. The anger illusion. Anger feels powerful, but it's really a disguise for powerlessness. When your brain can't process fear, shame, or grief, it rebrands them as rage, an emotion that feels active. That's why people lash out after being humiliated or ignored. It's easier to explode than to feel small. Neurologically, anger gives a dopamine rush, tricking you into thinking you've regained control. But every outburst is just fear in cosplay. The moment you admit you're scared instead of angry, the performance ends, and the healing starts. But yeah, vulnerability doesn't go viral, so we pretend we're mad instead. 19. The choice paradox. Freedom sounds great until you have to choose. Then your brain short-circuits. The more options you have, the less satisfied you become. It's called choice overload. When you had 3 ice cream flavors, you were fine. Now with 57? You're one click away from an existential crisis. More choices mean more responsibility, more regret, and more blame if you pick wrong. That's why people stay in May relationships. Certainty feels safer than infinite possibility. The modern curse isn't lack of freedom, it's too much of it. 20. The authenticity glitch. You think you're being yourself? But which self exactly? The confident one with friends, the awkward one with strangers, or the numb one at 3 a.m.? Neuroscience shows your personality shifts subtly across contexts like a playlist on shuffle. The self isn't a fixed identity. It's a performance designed for survival. Every version of you is real, just situational. The problem starts when you pick one act and call it me. True authenticity isn't consistency, it's awareness. You're not faking your personality, you're just using different masks for different storms. The trick is remembering you're the one wearing them. 21. The attention hijack. Your attention isn't stolen, it's auctioned. Every app, ad, and notification is a bidder competing for a piece of your prefrontal cortex. Your brain evolved to track threats and opportunities, but now it can't tell the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and a red notification dot. That's why you can't stop checking your phone. It's not weakness, it's neurochemistry. Dopamine spikes when something might be rewarding, not when it is. The modern world turned curiosity into currency, and you're paying with focus. You're not distracted because you're lazy. You're distracted because someone's monetizing your instincts. 22. The false consensus effect. You assume most people see the world roughly the way you do. They don't. Your brain builds a fake consensus bubble, convincing you your opinions are the default. It's the false consensus effect, a built-in social illusion that protects your ego. It feels good to believe everyone agrees with me, but that comfort comes at the cost of growth. It's why arguments online feel so stupid. You're not debating someone else's logic. You're threatening their reality model. Everyone's living inside their own simulation, and you're the main glitch in theirs. 23. The comfort addiction. Your brain says it wants happiness, but it really wants comfort. And comfort kills progress. You don't stay in your comfort zone because it's great. You stay because it's familiar, predictable, and demands nothing new from you. Comfort feels safe, but it slowly rewires your brain for fear. Fear of change, risk, and failure. That's why the longer you avoid discomfort, the smaller your life becomes. Growth literally feels wrong to your nervous system because your brain mistakes the unknown for danger. So if everything feels a little uncomfortable right now, good. You're not failing, you're evolving. 24. The success illusion. You don't chase success, you chase the feeling you think it'll give you. But your brain is a master con artist. It releases the same dopamine when you imagine success as when you achieve it. That's why fantasizing about your dream life feels incredible, but actually living it often feels meh. Your brain treats goals like mirages. Get close enough, and they vanish. True success isn't something you achieve. It's something you notice in real time. The irony? The moment you stop obsessing over winning, you finally start feeling like you have. 25. The mortality filter. Your brain edits out the fact that you're going to die, not out of denial, but survival. Psychologists call it mortality salience suppression. If you fully grasped your own impermanence all the time, you wouldn't go to work or plan a vacation. You'd curl up under a blanket and hum existential blues. But when life shocks you, loss, illness, aging, that filter slips. Suddenly, everything trivial dissolves, and the smallest moment feels infinite. The trick isn't to ignore death, it's to use it as a lens. The awareness that everything ends is what makes anything matter. 26. The observer paradox. You'll never truly know yourself, because the moment you observe your own mind, it changes. Psychologists call this introspective interference. The you that's thinking isn't the same you that's being observed. It's like trying to see your own eyes without a mirror. The mind can't step outside itself. It can only guess. Every self-discovery is a version of the truth, not the truth itself. The deeper you look, the more you realize there's no final you to find, just layers of stories pretending to be a person. Consciousness is the universe's most beautiful magic trick. It lets you watch the show and forget you're the magician. So, there you have it. 26 psychological truths humanity isn't mentally ready to hear. Your empathy is selfish, your happiness is fake, your memories are fan fiction, and your sense of self is a glitchy hologram. But hey, at least now you know. Which of these truths broke your brain the hardest? Drop your favorite existential crisis in the comments.